Good afternoon. Today, our discussion is going to be a little different. As Matlala Group, we are in IT and we supply services to clients. However, most of the original equipment manufacturers do not deal direct with us. So we work through mainly distributors. And today I've had the pleasure of welcoming our guest. He's part of our distributors, which is Axiz. I'll allow the gentleman to introduce himself and then we'll dive into the conversation. Afternoon, sir.
Afternoon, Avi. How are you?
Good. How are you, man?
Very well, thank you.
Please introduce yourself. Let the people know who I'm talking to.
You're speaking to Mike Paseka Selepe. I'm the HPE BDM at Axiz.
Oh, okay. So maybe just before we even go into what products you provide and what's in there, so maybe to explain it just a bit further, is that a lot of the times, especially for us SMMEs, we do not have the relevant skills in the market space to actually go and project and do the right configs and build the right equipment set for clients. Yeah. So what is your day like? You know.
Sure. I think firstly, apart from the configs, is as a BDM, my true focus is to generate revenue for our resellers. As you know, HPE is channel-centric. Yep. So HPE will not go directly to their end customers. They prefer to use the channel, which includes distribution and resellers. So a normal day for me would be engaging with resellers, growing them through the partner ecosystem. HPE has different tiers for partners. So you would start at proximity, you then move to business partner, and then you go to silver, gold, and platinum. With all of those comes rebates, advantages, MDF. So essentially, they have thresholds. Yep. At business partner, it's 30K USD. To reach silver, you need 300K USD. So essentially, my role entails building those business partners into silver partners, which includes increasing their margins and revenue.
Thank you for that. And obviously, it comes quite tedious because of, I can imagine, yes, you are today talking to Matlala, but you have to support the entire ecosystem, not necessarily the one. And usually it's competitive for the same client.
Yes.
Yes.
100%.
So how do you manage that piece?
It goes back to your question of resellers don't necessarily have the skills. Yep. So what we do is we help resellers go to end customers. So essentially you would need pre-sales. We use the tools. We use HPE's resources as well. So we start to work on a deal with you from the beginning. Yep. We help you farm, we help you build the solution, and then we'll help you with price points as well as getting to the target price of the customer.
That's very good, and I like that. And obviously you are a BDM, which is Business Development Manager, for the HPE stack. Now, HPE, and maybe just a bit of history around that. I've only really learned to call them HPE over the last 6 months. For as long as I've lived, it was HP. And
yeah.
So in the HPE space, so I suppose HPE would be Hewlett Packard Enterprise.
That's correct.
Now it's only enterprise products.
That's correct.
And then all end user devices, your laptops, your printers have moved to HP Inc.
That is correct.
Okay. So what are the products in the HPE portfolio that customers, starting from the lower end ones up to the enterprise and I think it's the Superdome as people
100%.
call it. Yes. Yeah. So what are those and what are the values around those things? So why do I choose a particular solution versus another and
100%. So we have a wide range of solutions. Firstly, we'll start with the ProLine family, which entails SMP solutions. So you have in there your servers and storage. So servers would be your DL160, DL180, DL360, and your DL380. Okay. So those will obviously depend on workloads. and applications.
Okay.
And then we move on to the storage portion, where we also have ranging from SMB to enterprise. So for SMB, we would have your MLs, and then you'd also have your MSAs. So that's your storage portion. And then moving on to enterprise, the DL360s and the DL380s would also apply there, because then we put them into SimpliVity. That's our hyper-converged infrastructure. And then in there, you would still have the storage portion of it, which would be your Nimble. We've just now released Alletra. You still have your Primera. That would be the product stack from an HP perspective.
So, in Matlala, we like simple, everything we try simplify work. So this SimpliVity solution, maybe just a brief overview, and you called it hyper-converged. So obviously now there's a lot of people who are talking cloud.
Yeah.
So how does this tie in or add value to somebody who is on a cloud journey?
Well, in terms of cloud, SimpliVity would move the focus. Let's shift the focus to our cloud solution.
Okay.
Our hybrid cloud solution, which is called Greenlake.
Okay. Greenlake, okay.
Yeah. So essentially, Greenlake would be a competitor to cloud.
Okay.
You understand that moving to the cloud means vendor lock-in, one.
Okay.
Secondly, it's cost. Thirdly, it's data. Important data that you don't want to move to the cloud. So you'd have to have a hybrid solution.
Okay.
So what Greenlake does is it offers you a pay-per-use solution where you can pay only for what you use.
All right.
With a 10% buffer that is attached to it. And the reason this buffer has essentially become so important is we've seen the long lead times on some of the components.
Yeah.
That means that if your business is now running out of storage and you need more compute power, you then need to go back and start the process of assessments, configuring, and then order the stock. And then you're probably looking at a very long lead time, which means that impacts business continuity. And noting, because of the COVID problems that we have and the chipsets not being available, correct. So this mitigates against that. 100%. Now you ask, how does it mitigate against that?
Yes.
So firstly, we have AI technology within HPE, and this is called InfoSight. InfoSight has gathered information and data across 10 years, which means that it will tell you when your server is about to fail, any component failure, any storage that is about to reach capacity. We sort of preempt and we tell you as the end customer that this is about to reach end of capacity, your capacity is about to go out, your drives are about to fail, and in the process we then mitigate for that by sending down the components and providing you with a technician to actually slot and sort out everything for you. So firstly, that's InfoSight, and then Greenlake then manages your IT infrastructure.
Okay.
So you're also paying for us to manage your IT infrastructure. So your IT resources actually focus on more innovative things to do, like advancing the business, as opposed to constantly firefighting.
Okay. And then obviously, and that's a very important point you're talking to. However, I mean, a lot of companies may say, if now my infrastructure is managed remotely or managed by a different person, and my team, what sort of innovation are we talking? Because of, at some point, I suppose maybe the resistance may come from IT to say, I'm losing, why should I keep the stuff?
100%. So you look at overall cost of purchasing equipment. If you have a budget of 5 million rand towards your IT infrastructure, you might want to use that budget for something else. So what Greenlake does is it gives you a day one and a last day quote.
Okay.
So we're looking at how much capacity you will require at the beginning and how much capacity you'll end up with. Okay. So what this does, it means that you take that 5 million and you dedicate it to other IT or other business solutions that you'd like to implement. And then over the 5 years, you will then pay on the Greenlake solution. So 1 month you might be paying a particular value, the next month a particular value, and the next month a particular value, based on how much you consume, how much your IT consumes. Further to add, we have OneView, which is a single point pay point, right? Where you can see your virtual machines, you can deploy, you can do everything from that pain point as well. So it gives you the full management capacity. It's not that your IT is relinquished to a third party. No, it's still in-house. We are just managing your infrastructure for you.
Okay. And then obviously for some, especially a lot of guys who are talking pure cloud are saying, well, if I am in finance or in the finance department, I know I go to a call logging system and I request the VM. Now, is this able to integrate into, let's say, a client has a ServiceNow solution or other solutions? Is it easy to integrate that into those?
Yes. Greenlake does integrate into third-party solutions.
Oh, okay. So now I don't have, so essentially I could manage, so from an IT point of view, I'm managing from a single pane of glass, so I can see my storage, my switching, my servers.
Correct.
And then the end user will always have the interaction they've always had where they request a machine and all is still run that way. But does the internal IT then have the ability to commission new machines, take down old machines, move things around, categorize the sort of storage they want and all of those? Do they own that capability?
100% they own that, and that comes from the OneView capability.
Okay.
So it's your management tool essentially.
Okay. But now I know historically, and not to expose my age, but historically we used to use there was a management console per server that you would have to enable and then manage each server. Is that gone away, or is this just to have a view of everything? How do they work together with those?
It's to have a view of everything. So you would still have the lights of ILO that are on there. So, but then again, you can still manage your infrastructure from OneView.
Okay. So if I'm used to ILO today and I've worked on ILO most of my life, is it easy to just move to the Greenlake management console, or is it completely different?
It's super easy. So we will then deploy training services to you and your team. So we won't just leave you with Greenlake and the management tools, but what we'll do is we'll train your IT staff on how to utilize the tools that have been provided for them.
Okay. And then, in some organizations I've seen where some of the clients prefer to do sort of a chargeback. So they have the finance department, this is what they are consuming, and maybe that's the argument for some to say cloud enables me to say these servers belong to finance and they cost me X amount.
Yeah.
Does the Greenlake solution cover those sort of things around budgeting, chargebacks, and knowing which department consumes?
100%. That's the advantage of Greenlake, and that's how you can actually separate the spend of your different departments, because you again have a view of what you are using and what you are paying for. So we're not just charging you based on whatever figures we get, but it's based on the usage that you yourself can see as well.
Okay. So and that is important, and I say that because of, when IT spends money, usually they are not spending for their own consumption.
Yeah.
They are supporting business functions. So for me, it's that importance of saying legal team consumes X amount of resources, and it coming at this cost. So does it have that transparency?
Yes, it does. Further to add, we have Aruba that's added to that product stack as well. That will provide you with security. Not only do we give you a cloud experience on-prem, but we also give you the best security as well with Zero Trust. Aruba has a whole portfolio as well that's also linked to Greenlake.
Okay. I think maybe in one of our next sessions, we'll cover the zero trust, because, I've heard a number of people speak on it, and I think it deserves just an unpacking so that a general user can understand. So maybe just as a closing remark on your end, what are the things you would like to see or share with those who view think to understand about HPE, what it entails, and all of those sort of things?
Sure. Ooh, where do I start? I think for resellers, it has become a tough time. We're moving from selling tin to actually selling solutions and providing businesses with support. It's been hard to transition, right? You constantly wanting to keep your business afloat with constant revenue, but how do you do that through Greenlake? I think most people ask that. Is what's the benefit to me as a reseller with Greenlake? From selling tin, you could probably sell services and a solution to your end customer through Greenlake, in the sense that you will get recurring monthly revenue. So not only does HPE get the revenue, but you as the reseller also get the revenue. So I think the thought here would be, how do we move our business towards solution selling as opposed to dropping tin?
Okay.
Because the market has seen that most SMBs are now struggling based on the fact that you have enterprises wanting solutions that will bulletproof them for situations like COVID.
Okay.
With long lead times, how do we mitigate those problems? And the perfect solution for that is, of course, a Greenlake solution. HPE will be hosting a new partner program, which is called Vantage Point.
Yep.
So essentially, this will be targeted at SMBs and Greenlake solutions, putting the whole product stack in there. Our current program is the Partner Ready program.
Yep.
And then we'll slightly have that program as well to try and assist SMBs with growing the market with regards to Greenlake and hybrid cloud.
No, and I appreciate that. So does it, as a final thought, so if I have Greenlake, but some of the customers have already migrated to your Office 365s and those, especially the productivity and collaborative suites, does it work well with those, or is it I must keep the relations of each environment as its own?
It works well with those. So Greenlake, again, is there to help you keep business continuity, and not say necessarily move all your tools to this or that. No, essentially we are here to provide you with the best possible solution for you to have business continuity, 1. 2, to service your clients. If you're a developer, you need to test, run prototypes. You are able to do all of that within the Greenlake stack. Furthermore, we also have Esmeralda, which is our software solution that will assist you in doing that. But I think
we'll have a conversation around Esmeralda. So we've got Zero Trust as our next conversation. We've got Esmeralda, and then
the partner program, InfoSight. 100%.
Okay. So just for me, it says, so while customers are moving some workloads to the cloud, I suppose from an innovative position point in the HPE and also the distribution channels, is to create the same feel that if you've bought something in the cloud and you've also owned some infrastructure, how do I streamline my consumption and payment to a similar way, not having to go through different parts?
100%. Okay. That is the idea.
No, and thank you for your moments. It's highly appreciated, and I shall wait for the next 2 conversations.
Thank you, Avi. Appreciate it.
No, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Super.